Hello everyone, my name is Farah. I'll be your main host today. We've got another lovely ServerSmash for you, and today I am joined by...
Strictly Select / Char Asenball from Vogu and Indian Elite.
So, today we have another awesome match for you guys. As you can see in the bug, we have an all-American affair, Connery versus Emerald. Are you looking forward to this script? How am I going to address you? Can I just call you Char? It makes life a lot easier.
Call me Char or Rob, either one's fine.
Okay, cool. So today we have a very special game. We're on Indar again, second time we're here. And we're going to be seeing Connery, who's playing the new Conglomerate in the south, against Emerald as the Terran Republic in the north. Now, did you play in the previous Indar game?
Yeah, I played in the Miller Indar
So
game.
what was your feeling of that game, as Indar as a whole?
Well, I think the neutral bases in Indar are especially important because they're just such strong bases, like Alatum, Bay Point, Crown Even, Crimson Bluff. They're all very, very hard bases to attack once they're in Empire spawn. But as long as they're neutral, they don't have that kind of hard spawn. So that's when they're really contestable, and after that it's very hard to assault them. So there'll be a really harsh fight over the big bases on the map.
Okay, so some disclaimers today. We are all reeling the effects of Daybreak Games, Air Patch, and other patches that they've done. This has also affected the observer camera, so if I'm being exceptionally potato with the obs cam, forgive me, because it's now a ground vehicle and doesn't have ascend or descend, so I'm trying really hard to fly the thing around. And other things with the patch, how do you think it's going to affect the air game or the play, or just anything with this latest patch? I mean, I suppose the new Conglomerate Connery are going to have training bras on their NC heavies. It'd be easier for the TR to shoot them, or is there anything else that you can think of, maybe with this patch that'll affect it?
Is this a Bushido smash as well? Is this the no airlock-ons? Because if it is, then it's going to be very...
Just this year, maybe you can enlighten us. Is there a gentleman's agreement effect?
Yes, there is.
Ah, okay, so no air-to-air lock-ons. Okay, that's fair enough.
It's going to be really interesting then.
Last time some people broke it.
I think it was 2 from Cobalt, wasn't it, that broke?
Oh yeah, well that can be dealt with by the people in the thing. So anyway, today we are on Indar, and I guess we'll just roll off. The game actually is going to start in about 8 minutes from now. 7 minutes 30, 28 as you see in the countdown screen. So we'll just roll into basically the layout of the bases, kind of the maps, and what we can see. So the neutral bases, well, I guess we'll start actually in the north. These 3 territories to the north are out of play territory, so we're at 44 in terms of control, and the number of bases each for territory control. It's a 2-hour territory alert. At the end of the 2 hours, you guys already know this, but whoever owns the most territory wins. We've got Indar Bay Point all the way in the west. Coming into the central, we have Alatum Biolab and Vanu Archives. In the centre, we have Tia Alloys in the Crown. And then further off into the east, we've got Crimson Bluff Tower and Howling Pass Checkpoint. Now, if you were to ask me what maybe has kind of influence here, it depends what you're looking for. From the south, there's a lot of important bases. Crimson Bluff Tower is an important base due to the number of connections that links into the south, and along with Vanu Archives. Alatum Biolab is theoretically important because you can get the hands on it, or Tia Alloys is important as well because it's a 4-minute cap base. So we might see that the Biolab and Tia Alloys, because they are short timer bases, i.e. less than 7 minutes, which is what the other large 5 outposts are, we can see a lot of focus on the Biolab and Tia Alloys. And then from that, we can see maybe forces redeploying back to other large bases and seeing what we're going with.
That's why this map's kind of unique as well, because a lot of the neutral bases are 3 points. I mean, generally on the maps we've had previously, there's only been one big base that, it's kind of become the focal point of the neutral initial fight. But on this map, so many of them have these big towers, big bases that are 3 points, so even with all the points, they're a 7-minute. So they keep contested well into the medium game, maybe even after 15 or 20 minutes, so it kind of changes the dynamic of the opening move.
Right, and then when you kind of start the game, I mean, we've got our numbers today are 240 and 240, so you're probably talking about 5 platoons and maybe 1 air platoon, or 4 platoons, sorry, 1 air platoon. I mean, how do you separate your forces? How do you just put everybody on the 2 bases in the center, and then a couple of guys on the large outpost, so you at least grab 1 point? I mean, what would you do?
What we saw from the Briggs game was the Briggs, they sent these sort of harassment squads to the big 3-point bases just to try and delay them as long as they could and take out the vehicle terminals so they couldn't be used to reinforce the bases. And they really focused Alatum and Tia Alloys. I think they sent about 3 platoons to Alatum and a platoon to Tia Alloys, and then the rest went to the other bases just in small harassment teams just to try and keep them kind of ticking, not let them get capped fast so they could buy time for the forces from Alatum and Tia to get there. I don't know if Cobalt or, not Cobalt, sorry, Emerald will try something different, or maybe even Connery will try something different. Because maybe if you can delay them long enough at Latam, you can get the Crown or Crimson Bluff, Bay Point, these strong bases. That could be a different way to kind of.
Well, we did see that the South, in terms of attacking the Crown, has this sort of advantage because with the B and C points are on the southern side, so it's more advantageous if you want to attack the Crown. And miraculously, Miller, for whatever reason, managed to get the Crown last time we played on Indar against Briggs. So it'd be interesting to see what goes on here, whether or not the South emphasises more that they must get Crimson Bluff Tower, which Miller didn't get last time against Briggs, and it kind of hurt them because Briggs was able to push down to Zervan Amp Station. And then I guess we can see, because I guess Indar Bay Point is another potential area where the North could push quite hard into kind of these kind of single point bases to get some easy territory. So we'll see how Emerald plays it out. And then Connor, if you're Connery, right, you've got these important bases you want to play for. How would you go at the beginning? Would you push really hard for alloys in the Crown, and then perhaps opening up Ceres and into Seabed Listening Post and Galaxy Solar Plant?
That's the problem with the Eastern Warpgate, I think. At least I think the North it's very strong at the start, just because you really want the territories you can push into, the territories you can capture fast. And when you look at what this Eastern has as options, it doesn't have that many. I mean, you have the line to Mao, where you have a lot of fast cap 1-point bases, and you have maybe Palisade or Ceres that you want to open up. Whereas if they are trying to attack from the north, you have these 1-point bases, like I said, near Indar Bay Point, that they have a lot of links that open up there, and you can easily get forces sapped to try and defend those. You're really kind of at a lost of where you can attack. So you probably do want the Crown just to open up that center, which is, in my opinion, the weakest part of the map for the Northern Warpgate. So I think Connery will focus Crown TI Alloys area for definite. Maybe even Alatum as well.
Yes, and I am reading Twitch chat, guys. It's very appreciated. I will be replaced, similarly executed next week, so you can rest assured that the intelligible Queen's English will be back with some other American caster. Okay, so... Yeah. So anyway, with the rest of what have we got here? About 2 minutes 50 to go. Air Force Indar is not like kind of Hossen or any kind of maps, or perhaps maybe are more like Esmir, and it's quite open. And we saw that last time Briggs brought the air game, and it was all dominating. Especially when we had one particular instance at Palisade, it was absolutely crushing. I mean, do you think in terms of air game, whoever gets air dominance in the beginning or throughout the game is going to translate that into ground pounding?
That's what I was so interested to see in this game as well. Just because the new change to how the air vehicles work with their controls. I mean, a lot of people saying nose guns aren't as good an option anymore. So in the Briggs game, we saw some really clever play from Briggs. They had this kind of auxiliary platoon. Kind of what you see in a pub server, really. They went near the warp gate, set up an AA base on one of the big mesas, and they were shooting down.
That's true. We did see kind of alternate tactics. We did see some kind of harassment tactics. We saw harassers. Although, we have tech plants here, I don't expect to see main battle tanks that much. And you're right, anti-air kind of like... Because there are sections, especially as you come across the map to the south of the continent, that the elevation of the terrain is higher, so flak and anti-air groupings is more effective, and if you coordinate with your air effectively, you can lure in the enemy air force and either shoot them down, or you can keep an area clear of enemy air force that you guys can come in and ground pound. So we're just going to play the intro now, guys, and then we're going to go to the start of the actual game, because we're only a short way out.
Where we come from, we each fight for loyalty, for freedom, or perhaps enlightenment, but not here. Here we cast aside our disparate beliefs, our barriers and preconceived notions, and band together as a global force to engage in the largest competitive battles the world has ever seen. We are the squads, the platoons, the empires and servers, full of players coordinating a complex game of strategy and tactics. This is where combined arms happens. This is where war comes to play. This is ServerSmash.
Okay, we are sub now 25 seconds. 25 seconds to go, and I take it you're over the Eastern Warpgate, because I'm currently watching Emerald's kind of start. Yeah,
I'm looking at all the Reavers.
Wondering how this is going to play, if there's going to be TKs or whatnot, because basically you do have the flight system where it builds up
8,
rather
7,
than is like
6,
full control, so we'll see where they go at the beginning.
4,
I'm definitely expecting
3,
Biolab play.
2, 1.
Yeah, same. Definitely
Go,
the
go,
NC
good
as
luck to
well with
both
the Maxes,
sides.
the scatter cannons.
So here we go at the beginning, and we see, at least on the Emerald side, 2 teams splitting off, heading off to the east and west, in between the crown. So it looks like, actually, some of them may be going to Crimson Bluff then with that kind of play in Howling Pass, and the rest look like they're going to T Alloys.
I'm seeing a similar distribution on Connery's side as well. It looks like a small force going off towards the Howling Pass area, and the main force heading towards the Crown or Alatum. Looks like they're going towards Alatum mainly.
Oh, yeah, we can definitely see that the main Reaver force here, there's at least one very large one, is going to the Biolab. Now, they're bailing early. I would have liked to see some of them wait, and basically, you've got Banshees, right? Look at all these wasted mosquitoes. I'd love to see some of these guys basically hold on to their mosquitoes, and then, like, see, here come the Reavers, so they're here first. Use those Banshees and shoot them down on the ground.
There is one Banshee Mozzie, he's going for it with his...
He is going for it, yeah, absolutely. Oh, I wonder if something's up with my audio.
It's quite an open distribution of troops compared to the Miller Brig smash. Alatum hasn't been quite as focused.
Yeah, you know what? I know why the audio didn't work in the beginning with that Braveheart thing. I think I'm only getting one source of audio here. Okay, I'll see if I can't fix that. But anyway, we're in the Biolab, and I will try and fix the audio in a second here, guys, because I can tell it's not actually triggering off properly. I had to change the Twitch key earlier, and it crashed the OBS, and that seems to have messed with the sound. Right, so we can, anyway, the point is that I can see that Connery as NC has brought Maxes to the fight early, and they've teleported inside.
This is strange. At the Crown, there is literally 0 infantry. Not one person has dropped from either Connery or Emerald onto the ground. They have completely ignored it. We're seeing the NC Max's strengths in the Biolab here. The Scatter Cannon Max is really strong in this kind of terrain. Close quarters fighting.
Eyes on an enemy galaxy. Thanks.
Well, I'm just currently on the Delta point, and we can see that in terms of populations, we can see that Emerald is outpopped 2-1 by, well, 60-40 by Connery. And they're overcommitting, well, not over a bit. Playing a big game here for the with Maxes for the Biolab, and we can also see, look, they've completely ignored Tia Alloys, so there's actually a very large half platoon for Emerald at Tia Alloys. It's about 60-40 again at Crimson Bluff, and there's no opposition at all against Emerald on Howling Pass. And at Indar Bay Point, we see another 60-40 in favour of Connery. And then also at Vanu Archives, we see a 60-40 as well. And the population discrepancy is because of the Emerald forces are Tia Alloys. And it looks like the Biolab, at least in the beginning here, is going to go uncontested and fall to Connery.
Completely Connery dominated here. This is a very good play as well, because the main thing with this play is if you're going to get this, you're going to play a large population here, you want to get it fast, because the strength of it is it caps quickly. It's a 4-minute cap for this base. So you want all the points, and you want to keep them locked down. And they're managing it. So this is a good play by Connery. But it looks like the forces that Emerald have at Alatum, they've decided they're going to lose this, and they're moving them to Crimson Bluff to try and split Connery's forces up.
Yep, I'm going to head along. Oh, we can also see perhaps some... it's very small tier... Okay, the TR forces are now beginning... Emerald is beginning to spawn in. We can see that they've got Banana, and they're looking to push onto the Alpha and perhaps Delta points. It's still got a long cap on this base. You know, still 2 minutes, and 2 minutes is plenty of time for the Emerald forces to redeploy and then push in, which is what they're doing now. And it's going to turn this to a very long fight.
I mean, as long as with the cap, the way the cap works, as long as it's only halfway capped, you can quickly cap it again. And if you steal it off them, it's an extremely good play as well. They're basically capping the base for you, driving towards neutral, and then when you take all the points back, it's a 2-minute cap.
Man, I'm trying to fix the audio, guys. I'm sorry about it. It's short of a restart. I don't know what to do.
There's a huge max crash on the generator building now. Absolutely gigantic. I think Emerald might get the space back.
No, I know the audio is off. If you guys think the audio is fine, then that's okay, guys. And then maybe it's just my speakers that are messing up. But I get the tinning sound. It's like going to get left side instead of right side, so I'm only hearing like one half of the audio. As I played the clip during the countdown stream, that happened as well. But we'll see how it goes. We'll just leave it for now then. So we can see now that there's a heavily contesting of Connery and Emerald on the delta point on the top. A lot of grenades going in for the Connery force, and it's hard to say who's going to get the advantage here. I definitely think, actually, you know what? I'm beginning to think it's Connery here, just because the number of dead Emerald bodies on the floor on the delta point. It's 4-point base. If they get the delta. A lot of resonates though, isn't it?
Emerald have 2 teleports as well, don't forget, so they have a decent access.
That is true, they do have the double teleports, so they can come in and grab extra points and just stall the base out. Now, what's going on at the moment? T-Alloys is captured, which means hypothetically, Emerald doesn't need to fight there anymore, which means their entire force came to the Biolab and balanced that out. The Crown is uncontested, and Howling Pass is uncontested, so these are free bases, at least for a while, that are going to go against Connery's favour. Connery is overpopping Vanu Archives, and it's about 50-50 on Indar Bay Point. Those are very long base captures though, so they're not really going to matter. What probably matters right now, at least for the next couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes before the Crown gets too low, is what happens at the Biolab. And also,
could Emerald even come to Botany Wing, just taking TLIs? Could they perhaps?
They could go behind the Botany Wing, but so long as and that's actually what they're doing. You can see that coming in now. Some of their air force.
The air is bombarding their max crash.
But the thing is that so long as the Biolab is under contention, they can still cap. So even if they were to hypothetically lose the Botany Wing, they could still flip points until the Botany Wing was fully saved or fully captured. Because there's no Vanu, it needs to be fully captured by one team or the other. So they can still flip points even though they lose the predecessor base. Oh wow! You see that fresh TR? So TR's pulling another mega pull now. A lot of Max's infantry, and they're going to run around the side of the Biolab and come up into Banana. Now, Connery knows what's happening. They can see this in flight. They can see them coming round. It's to be seen how effectively all these maxes get pulled. Because let's be clear here, this is a huge nanite investment. It's only 50 nanites per every minute redo. So I mean, essentially every max that you see here is like a main battle tank in terms of nanite
it's a 9-minute
investment.
In terms of game.
And with a minute 40 to go, Emerald's going to have to overpop here in the hour. Look, they're at 60% now. So it's really up to Connery to pull this off. If they could somehow get Charlie Point, maybe they could. This would go much quicker. Oh no, they're losing Bravi Point. They've got too many people on. That's the thing. It's a 4-point Biolab.